Yes. Because it would be copyright infringement for you.
Because he knows I have a YouTube channel.
Apologize to him. I apologize, Mr. Back in your car and do your job properly. I am.
Power can easily go to one's head, and some police officers act like they are above the law, treating citizens with zero respect. But today, we are diving into some truly satisfying moments where informed and confident citizens stood their ground and gave these cops a lesson they won't forget. On April 4th, 2022, Santa Ana Audits came outside of his home to film police officers who had arrived to investigate a vehicle theft. As the auditor stepped outside, the corrupt officers recognized him, got into their vehicle, and blasted music through the PA system.
Oílo, está poniendo música. Porque él sabe, en mi canal no puedo poner videos con música. Look at these guys playing music.
The officers were blatantly playing loud music at 10:30 p.m. on a Monday. Their reason was extremely sinister, as they had hoped the auditor's video would get a copyright from the music when it was uploaded on YouTube.
You guys get paid to listen to music? You guys get paid to listen to music and stand around? Put the music down. Yeah, it's a major problem. Yeah. Let's tell him. Come on.
It is. I'm trying to go to bed.
Hey, what's going on?
Turn the music down. I want to go to bed. What's the music for?
Hey, what's going on? What's going on? Have some respect, Corporal. Have some respect, Corporal. You're in our neighborhood. This ain't your neighborhood. Have some respect.
After the music was turned off, Santa Ana City Council member Jonathan Hernandez arrived on the scene and questioned the officer. He was about to school the officer like a kid.
What's going on with the music, guys?
Exactly. Why they're recording, like playing loud music for like that?
What is going on here, guys?
Tell them to have respect.
Guys, what's going on with the music here?
Tell them to have respect.
What's going on with the music here?
What was that, sir?
What's going on with the music here?
Nothing, sir, which is Mr. Hector not letting us conduct our investigation.
Why are you playing Disney music?
Why?
Yes.
Okay.
He's lying to you. He's lying to you.
Why are you doing it?
Why?
Yes.
Because it would be copyright infringement for you.
Because he knows I have a YouTube channel.
So you're using our resources?
No, I'm not using our resources. I'm using my phone, sir.
No, we're paying you on tax dollars.
Okay. Okay.
Do you know who I am?
I know who you are.
No, you do.
I do.
Now
I did recognize
What
you.
do I do? What do I do?
You're a city council person.
Absolutely.
Yes, you are.
And this is my district.
Yes. I
You're
apologize.
You're not going to conduct yourself like that in front of my neighbors?
I apologize.
Apologize to him.
I apologize, Mr.
Now get back in your car and do your job properly.
I am.
Please.
Okay.
I'm embarrassed.
Okay.
That this is how you're treating my neighbors. There's children here. Have some respect for my community. Do you live here?
Do I live in Santa
Yes.
Ana? No, I don't, sir.
Well, maybe you should treat us with respect.
I do.
You
All
wouldn't
every
live
day.
here, but my people live here, brother. Please treat them with respect. There's kids that need to go to school.
Okay.
There's people that are working,
apologize already. I
and you
already
chose to use our taxpayer dollars
No, I
to
did.
disrespect
But okay.
a man with your music. That's childish, sir.
Okay, I apologize again.
Yes.
Now that is what you call classic humiliation. The tyrant was forced to apologize, not out of genuine remorse, but because he got exposed and called out by the councilman.
We're still conducting an investigation. The vehicle happened to be a stolen vehicle.
That's what you're doing for a stolen vehicle. Why don't we just walk in there?
What do you mean?
I mean, we're closing
waiting.
the streets down here.
We're not closing the street, sir.
What's the purpose of the Disney music then?
What do you mean?
You're playing Disney music and you just said pause on that?
Oh,
So there's a small...
I have a First Amendment right as well.
You do, absolutely.
And he's on record that he violated last time as well.
There's a small vehicle. Okay.
See, they do this all the time.
I apologize already. I apologize. I apologize. I realized that it was I apologize. Okay.
So is everything okay here? Is there anything that we should have?
No, I turned it on because I realized it. Okay.
You see, another violation.
So is everything okay here?
I'm
Because there's a
fine,
lot of
sir.
neighbors that are concerned.
Like I said, I really apologize, sir. Okay. I realize my mistake.
Okay.
Okay.
Good. Thank you.
No problem, sir.
And he sounded all dramatic. I wasn't interfering, okay? I came after the fact.
These guys.
No, I understand.
And I have it on video.
There's space. Yes, there's space. I'm the interruption check.
That's not.
No, I'm not. I'm not at all.
Thank you guys. There's an incident that happened here, and they're gonna do their job as best they could. I want to make it very clear that you guys are gonna respect our neighbors. We don't want to get in the way of you guys doing your job properly, but I just had to address
No.
the
I
noise that
totally
was
have to.
happening.
Okay, like I said.
Okay?
I realize I made a mistake, sir.
Absolutely.
Always satisfying to see the ego of a tyrant cop crushed by someone, and that too when it hits him out of nowhere. Watch as he hangs his head, unable to even make eye contact with the auditor.
All right, so we're gonna go this way. Okay.
Thank you, council member. I've been dealing with these guys by myself.
You're not alone.
These guys do this all the time. All the time. If you tell him what's in the First Amendment, he won't know it. He won't know it.
Turn your camera off. I'll talk to you.
He won't know it if you tell him what's in the First Amendment.
I'll talk to you.
And he took an oath to the Constitution.
So I'll talk to you off camera.
Okay.
I'll be right.
All right. Thank you. Have some respect next time, Corporal.
Sorry, guys.
Have a good day, Mr. Patel.
Yeah. Glad you know my name too.
I talk to you off camera.
Yeah, I was across the street when they were playing music.
Somebody still. Talk to you off camera.
All right, let's
His car
go.
was stolen. We don't want to violate his rights.
No, yeah. All right.
Hello, sir.
So, man,
How are you?
why you let your partner disrespect like that?
Hernandez did an outstanding job standing up for people's rights and completely put the cop in his place. While this was satisfying, these next cops got exactly what they deserved from an angry mother.
Yeah, no, there's no apology letter. I know community service. Sergeant Cole should be apologizing to him.
In September of 2024, New Jersey police officers, led by Sergeant Cole, went inside the residence without a warrant and assaulted a teenager. A month later, another officer showed up at the door and had a bizarre request for the mom.
Hey, Miss Sanchez. Hey, how you doing? I'm here for Sifredo.
What?
He's getting a station house adjustment for what happened on Saturday. It's pretty much in lieu of criminal charges. Dude. And once he's completed with that, and writing an apology letter to Sergeant Cole.
Yeah, we know that. When is the court date?
There's no court date, there's no charges, that's what I'm saying. It's in
Yeah,
lieu of
no,
charges.
there's no apology letter. I know community service.
Okay,
There'll be a lawyer involved in it.
okay, so,
Sergeant Cole should be apologizing to him. He went in the house without a warrant. Arrested my son. My son is not a criminal.
you put him in custody. He didn't arrest him.
Well, and he's charging him with...
No, I'm not right now, he's not being charged.
Okay,
I'm
but
not,
still.
that's what I'm saying.
My son has scratches from handcuffs.
I
My
understand.
son is not a criminal, so
Okay.
I'll grab this. What do you
Well-
need from me?
No, that's what I'm saying, in lieu of charges.
Okay.
That's what it is. You want a copy of it? And you could
Yeah.
decide and then just let me know.
Oh, from right now, he's not doing any of this. I'm letting you guys know right now.
Okay. Well, yeah, you know,
No apology letter. I'm
It's-
sorry.
it's in lieu of criminal charges. That's what we do.
Well, we can take it to court if he decides that he wants to consider charges because he is not getting an apology from me or my son.
Okay.
My son did nothing wrong.
That's your piece. You got it. Take it, Have a good day.
After the family filed 2 lawsuits against the police department and Sergeant Cole, officials tried to pressure them into writing an apology letter to defend the corrupt officer. Still, this mother stood her ground and owned these corrupt pigs. As of now, the lawsuits are still in progress. This officer got the karma he deserved, but the next power-tripping cop was no better.
Could get one too. First Amendment protected free speech. Free speech.
On April 26, 2022, Deputy Nick Helmer pulled over a vehicle for wrong license plate lights, and little did he know how things would go from there.
Hey there. Deputy Homer with the Sheriff's Office. Reading for the stop is the blue license plate lights.
Oh.
Yeah, they have to be white, man.
What?
So, do you have your license, registration, proof, insurance? Do you have a more current insurance? This one expired in October.
Oh, shit. Okay. Yeah, we changed it to
I'm sorry, I can't hear you.
Oh, we changed it to
Okay.
So then they have.
So I'll give you this one back too. That one's expired, but this one's good. All right, here's a warning for the license plate lights. Okay, drive safe.
Suddenly, a car drove by with angst audits inside. He shouted, "F- cops," while the passenger flipped the deputy off. Deputy Nick's ego couldn't take it. He ended the traffic stop on the spot and went straight after their vehicle.
Hey there. Deputy Homer with the Sheriff's Office. Reading for the stop is the disorderly conduct. So, do you guys both have your driver's license, registration, insurance?
So where are you pulling me overboard?
So, disorderly conduct and obstructing a peace officer.
So my freedom of speech?
So, you yelling out the window, flipping me off, is distracting me from my job and hindering my investigation that I was roadside with.
No.
Okay. Well, that's up to debate somewhere else. So, do you have your license, registration, and proof of insurance?
Yes, I have everything.
Okay. Can I have that? Disorderly conduct and obstructing a peace officer. You can hand me your license.
Obstruction is a
Right now,
physical
you're
act.
obstructing me again. So, do you have your driver's license, registration, and insurance?
Yes. You do realize that pulling me over for my freedom of speech is a violation of my First Amendment right. You
Okay.
will lose your qualified immunity for this, you know.
That's fine.
And I will take you to court.
That's fine.
All right.
So you should read up on the disorderly conduct law.
I have all my information right here. And I will be giving it to your supervisor when he shows up.
Okay. You can hand me your driver's license, registration, and proof of insurance, as well as the passenger, please. You are requested by law to do so.
I have it
I'm
right
giving
here.
you a lawful command to give me your driver's license, registration, and proof of insurance, as well as your passenger.
Passengers don't have to ID.
Yes, they do. because
That's
you
a
guys
violation of the
obstructed my
Fourth
investigation
Amendment.
And the disorderly conduct.
There was no disorderly conduct. That's freedom of speech.
Okay, sir, I'm going to give you one chance.
I'm going to ask for your
So I'm gonna ask you
supervisor.
your driver's license one more time. If you fail to identify yourself, okay, I'd like to have it.
I have to present it. I don't have to give it to you. I have to present it.
Angst Audits wasn't about to be intimidated, and he made that clear. But Deputy Nick kept pushing false claims, trying to charge him with disorderly conduct, even though all he did was exercise his constitutional right.
Okay. And do you have your license?
It's in the back seat.
Okay. What's your name?
I plead the fifth, sir. Sorry, I'm
Okay, you are required to identify yourself
evoking my
because what
right.
I saw on my traffic stop was you flipping me off and yelling
First
out the window.
Amendment
I don't know who
protected
yelled, I don't
speech.
know who flipped me off.
First Amendment protected speech.
Okay, so sir, please educate yourself on disorderly conduct before you start spouting it. Okay.
You
please
can't
shine
make a
your
law
light off my
against
face,
any
my
of
eyes.
my constitutional
Well, I need
rights.
your name and contact information.
Can you guys get the lights off my eyes? I have a migraine
It
and
is
I'm
not on
doing.
your eyes.
The auditor requested a supervisor, but in the meantime, Deputy Nick kept trying to intimidate both him and his wife. Even worse, he had called backup to help him with such a trivial matter.
First
It
Amendment.
doesn't bug me.
No,
That's what you
I
pulled
have
me
a
over for.
concussion.
Okay.
The
And
bright
I'm not shining
lights.
my light at you.
Where's
No,
your
he
supervisor?
keeps shining the light over here.
Hey, I called.
ENSMINGER.
You're gonna have to go slower. I'm sorry. I can't write that fast.
EN as Nancy, M as Mary. No, ENSMINGER.
And what's your date of birth, Ruth?
You can look it up by looking up my name, sir.
Okay.
Seriously, I've only lived here for so long.
So what is your date of birth?
June 9th,
Of what year?
93.
All right. Give me 1 minute, guys.
You do realize that he pulled me over for First Amendment protected free speech?
Well, he's saying it's disorderly conduct, so...
Yeah, flipping him off and saying police isn't disorderly. That's First Amendment free speech.
There's not much I can do.
All right, well, you could stop shining the light in here, Hurt. All right, you were just doing it 2 seconds ago. You guys need to learn what the actual laws are.
In no time, 4 officers and 3 patrol vehicles had arrived only because the officer was flipped off. As Deputy Nick went inside his vehicle, the auditor schooled another deputy who had no clue about the First Amendment.
Well, you could let him know what First Amendment protected free speech is. And you could also let me know what your name and badge number is.
Yep, Branson 15.
Name and badge number.
Deputy Rollins, badge number 1315.
All right, because nobody here is stopping him from violating my First and Fourth Amendment rights. Everybody's qualified immunity is going to be up for grabs. Well, I notified this officer he was violating my rights before he did it. So qualified immunity isn't going to protect him.
Well, I don't know what the stop was for. He never said. He just asked
He
for that,
literally
so.
said it on my camera. It's because we yelled, "Fuck the police," and flipped him off, which is First Amendment protected speech and redress of grievance with my government.
Your government? What's your government?
You guys, you are government agents, right?
Right, but you said your government, like you were implying that you had
No,
a
it's
different
what the wording of the First Amendment. Do you know there's 5 points of the First Amendment?
government. I know there's probably more than that. It just depends on the state.
No, there's 5
Because
points.
every state has its own amendments too,
Yeah,
correct?
but they can't overturn anything
no,
in the
they
Constitution.
Don't. They don't, but they just add things to it, right?
5 points. I got freedom of speech and freedom of redress with my government, which is everybody's government, the government.
Okay.
And he's violating on both of those.
Okay.
And he got my license and information, which is a violation of my Fourth Amendment. And I let him know that too.
Well, if he's conducting an investigation, you are required to identify, so that's not a violation.
Not if I haven't violated the law. Freedom of speech is freedom of speech, just like I could say "F*** and flip you off right now. See? Is that disorderly conduct?
I don't think it is.
Because it's
But I'm not
protected by the First Amendment.
It's not the way I perceive the law, so...
Well, you can't perceive the law whichever way you want. You have to follow the actual law. And the actual law says it's my First Amendment protected free speech.
Okay.
Numerous Supreme Courts have already ruled on it.
I'm not here to argue with you, man. I'm just here because he asked for assistance, right?
Well, you would best be assisting him in letting him know that he's violating my rights and he's going to end up with a lawsuit. And he might want to change his mind.
The auditor kept going back and forth with this deputy before ultimately the supervisor arrived, and as expected, things weren't going to get any better.
So you're an actual supervisor?
I am the shift supervisor.
All right, this officer pulled me over because I said, "Fuck the police," and I flipped him off, which is my First Amendment protected free speech.
Okay.
He is now violating my rights.
Okay.
It's also my First Amendment redress of grievance with my government. So he's violating my First Amendment right. He took all my information, which is a violation of my Fourth Amendment right, because it was against my will.
Okay.
He has no lawful reason for the stop. And I'm hoping that you'll fix it. Otherwise, we'll all be in court. And it will be a nice lawsuit.
Okay. Are you familiar with disorderly conduct, Montana Code Annotated?
I know that it can't violate my First Amendment right.
Okay. So disorderly conduct is when you disturb the peace by using profanities and such. So
Profanities are First Amendment protected speech.
Okay. Well, that argument needs to be had in court. Okay.
Yeah.
So he's finishing up some paperwork right now, and then we'll get you on your way. All right?
You might want to stop him before it goes to court, because you guys are all going to get sued. You're all going to be named in a lawsuit because you guys didn't stop him from violating my rights after everyone here was
He's
informed.
conducting a lawful traffic stop, so... Okay? He's conducting a lawful traffic stop, and you can talk to the judge about it.
Even the supervisor stood by and did nothing, while Deputy Nick went ahead and cited the auditor for disorderly conduct and obstructing a police officer.
Ken, this is for you. So,
A ticket for violating my First Amendment rights, yes, I know.
Okay. Disorderly conduct and obstructing a peace officer.
My First Amendment
you have 10
right.
days to contact the justice court on one of those two numbers. My name and badge number is at the bottom. Do you have any questions regarding that?
You need to look up definitions of shit and learn the law.
Okay. Do you have any
Because
questions?
just violated my rights. All right. I'll see you in court, motherfucker. Fuck the police.
This was a great send-off, and a few months later, the charges were dismissed after Nick hired an attorney. But he's not stopping there. He now plans to file a civil rights lawsuit against Deputy Nick and the other officers involved in the unlawful arrest. Well, this might have taken some time, but this next citizen completely took these pigs to the cleaners.
The mere fact that I'm exercising my legal rights does not make me uncooperative. You've got much better things to do to fuck me. Every single cop in this nation is a liar.
This brave man is a former police officer who refuses to back down and stands up for his rights, exposing these incompetent cops for their misconduct. Stay tuned until the end to see how these corrupt pigs get brutally humbled by these individuals.
Now we get to meet one another. How are you doing? What's going on with you following me? Are you an investigator of some sort?
Can I ask why you pulled me over, sir?
I pulled you over because the young ladies came over there and said you've been following her since she left the airport yesterday. So I want to know who you are.
Have I committed a crime?
No, but I'm conducting an investigation. Have you been following that young lady? I mean, if you're an investigator, investigate away. But if you're somebody harassing her or stalking her, that's against the law. Me pulling you over to find out who you are is me doing my job.
You mind getting that light out of my eyes?
Sir, it's nighttime. I don't know you from Adam's house cat. I don't know if you have weapons in here.
You see both my hands right here.
Well, I don't know if you have weapons in here, man. So I'm going to keep my flashlight right here where it is. I don't have it in your face. That would be in your face. I have it down. I'm trying to show you that respect. I'm illuminating the vehicle for my safety.
Mike wasn't just a private investigator, he was a certified interrogator with law enforcement experience. Yet officers believe that they could outsmart him.
Now, would you agree that I've answered every question you've asked me? And all I asked you was one simple question.
Am I free to go?
No, you are not. Not until I find out who you are. I'm conducting an investigation. Do you have your driver's license, registration, and proof of insurance on you?
Have you pulled me for a traffic violation, sir?
No, sir. I've already explained that to you. Now, you can play the back and forth rigmarole all you want to. I've explained to you why I pulled you over.
Okay, and you didn't have PC. I'm not suspected of committing a crime.
The probable cause is that you've been following this young lady, and she...
Do you know that, sir? Did you see that? Did you see that, Deputy?
Came back by. Why'd you come back by?
I don't have to answer questions.
Okay, you don't have to answer questions. Okay? You do have to identify yourself, sir.
Sir, if you suspect me of committing a crime or about to commit a crime, I have to identify myself. You have no probable cause to pull me for a traffic violation. I asked you why you pulled me.
Because the young lady said that you've been following her since yesterday.
So you believe everything everyone says to you?
Mike had done nothing wrong, but the cops' weak approach only led to an unnecessary confrontation.
Will you conduct right away, sir? At this point in time, I elect to not say anything. I elect to speak to my, say anything without having my attorney present. That would be Eric Friday.
Call him. Call him. Tell him to come up here. We're at the 8100 block of Arlington Express.
Just so you're aware, you're being videotaped.
I do not care. Do you get my good side? My right side is usually my best side.
Yeah, there's no good side on the cop's face.
Well, you're one of those people.
Yeah, one of those people. Yeah, and you're one of those people, right? Gun and badge for an extra rice, right?
No, it doesn't grant me an extra rice.
Yeah. How about you do your job and honor your oath?
Telling me that somebody's been following her since yesterday? Yeah, I'm investigating.
Yeah, and you just take everything everyone comes up to you. Okay, I just said someone pull a gun on me. You gonna go investigate that?
I sure would. Who pulled a gun on you?
Yeah.
Someone pull a gun on you?
I don't answer questions, Deputy.
You don't answer questions. You just stalk young ladies. Just stand by them.
The deputy refused to identify himself and quickly left, but what happened next was even more telling. Multiple officers arriving at the scene.
Your name and badge number, Deputy? Your name and badge number, Deputy? The guy that pulled me over is leaving. Am I free to go, Deputy? Am I free to go?
No, sir, not yet.
What am I being detained for, sir?
Hey, when I get around to get my car where it needs to be, I'll explain to you.
No, we want to find. Someone's saying that you're claiming your stock. What is that? Are you an investigator or anything?
Okay, let me make this clear, sir. I'm not giving you a hard time. I'm not giving you gentlemen a hard time.
Yeah, not yet.
So I'm gonna roll this window up, okay?
Okay.
I'd like to know.
Someone's allegedly.
Let me speak for a moment,
Go
sir.
ahead, go ahead.
No disrespect.
Yeah, go ahead.
I would like for you to articulate what crime you suspect me of committing or what crime you suspect me of about to commit.
Now, Mike knew his rights and refused to back down no matter how much pressure the cops put on him.
No, we just have a reasonable suspicion to figure out what's going on here.
No, sir. So you don't get to detain me to figure out if I've committed a crime, sir. The law and the statute states, in order for you to detain me, you must have reasonable, articulable suspicion that either I have committed.
Yeah, we have probable cause.
What is your probable cause?
We got a complaint that we got that's a red.
That's not probable cause, sir. What crime do you suspect me of committing?
Stalking.
And what you suspect me of committing stalking?
That's why I want to know. Were you anywhere near this? Near this?
I don't answer questions.
Do you know who she is?
I do not answer
But she
questions.
said she has no idea.
If you're going to articulate that you suspect me of committing a crime and have reasonable suspicion of that,
If you don't agree with it, if you don't agree without probable cause,
your name and badge number, sir.
Sir, what's your name?
Your name and badge number, sir.
Well, you gonna remember?
How about all you're being recorded? I've got 4 cameras in this truck. You're required by policy to issue your name and badge number. I'm going to ask you what. I'm speaking to this gentleman right now. I'll get your name and badge number in a minute. Your name and badge number.
The officers had no legal right or any reasonable suspicion to keep him, yet they refused to acknowledge it. It is concerning how ignorant and power-hungry cops are.
What's your name?
I just told you.
I didn't hear it because I'm sitting there speaking to
Well,
this
you're recording
gentleman.
it so you can pick it up later.
So I'm going to ask you once again. If you want to be a smart about it, I'll file an internal affairs case on you.
I gave it to you once already.
I didn't hear it. I'm asking you once again, so to extend some professional courtesy and treat me with the respect I deserve.
I did.
What is your name and badge number?
Well, here's the thing, sir. I gave you mine.
0051.
Thank you. I appreciate that, Deputy. Was that so hard?
No.
Your name and badge number, sir.
Second time.
When I give you my name and badge number,
Can I have your name?
Name and badge number, sir.
Lou, hang on.
I'd like to have your name, sir.
See, the thing is, sir, the law states I don't have to give my name and information unless you suspect me of committing a crime.
I don't.
Then am I free to go? Because this is an illegal detainment.
At this time.
This is an illegal detainment.
Okay.
My attorney, Mr. Eric Friday, would love to bring up a civil lawsuit against you in the city for this illegal detainment.
Sir.
When officers violate your rights and refuse to admit it, it only highlights how deep corruption and abuse of power runs in the system.
We're not trying to upset you.
I'm not
We
upset.
had a radio call. Let me give you what
Go right
happened.
ahead, sir.
We got a radio call that a vehicle matching this description of your vehicle was harassing someone in a short sense. Okay. Don't know what's transpired. We don't know anything about it. Your car meets what we were told, and that's why we're questioning you.
Okay.
And that's very simple. All we need to do is just ask you your name and the car and where have you been.
May I ask how my
verify
name
that.
is going to establish whether I've harassed someone or not?
Did you ask for our name? It would be nice to have your name as well.
It would be, but see, I don't...
And you don't have to give it
I appreciate
now
you saying
because-
that, sir.
All right, you don't have to give it now, but we just like to know. So we can, gentlemen,
Yeah.
would that be
My
okay?
name is Mike, sir. You can address me as Mike.
Okay, that's fine, Mike. That's a great beginning.
All right.
And the reason why is because, like I said, your car matches the description we were given.
I respect
Doesn't
that.
mean
I respect
you're guilty.
that. I respect that. You're
doesn't
talking
mean
to an
you're
ex-law
guilty.
enforcement officer, buddy.
These officers thought asserting rights meant refusing to comply, until Mike proved them wrong. Just watch as he teaches them a lesson they won't forget.
Well, we're not saying you're guilty of anything. We didn't say that.
Then
We're
you
not
are illegally
intimating it.
detaining me. I asked the
sir.
last deputy that left, what was his reason for stopping me? He didn't stop me for trafficking.
Did I just tell you
First of all,
now-
let me calm down. I
Did
shouldn't be yelling at you.
Thank you.
I shouldn't be doing
And
that.
I'm not yelling at you.
This
right?
deputy that stopped me, sir, did not articulate he was stopping me for a traffic violation. Then
No.
I asked him what his probable cause was, or what crime he suspected me of committing, or
No.
what reasonable crime, or reasonable
It's not the
suspicion.
case. The case is, as I stated, is that we had a description of a vehicle. Your vehicle matched that, and we're just here to
Okay.
determine, no, you're not the one, or yes, you are the one. Very
But see, the
simple.
law protects me. I don't have to answer questions.
No, yes, sir. But we're asking for your cooperation. And can we get that cooperation?
I'm cooperating. The fact that I extend my rights doesn't mean I'm not cooperating, sir.
This is a clear example of why citizens should stand up for their constitutional rights, especially when the government outweighs our freedom.
Would you agree with that, sir?
But I don't understand it. If you said you're an ex-law enforcement officer, and you understand that when somebody calls us and says, hey, this vehicle was following me. Okay? And we stop you, and we ask you questions regarding you, either you did or you didn't.
Correct.
Wouldn't you think a citizen, if they weren't doing anything wrong, would say, no, I'm not doing
But
that,
see,
or
sir,
whatever?
as a law enforcement officer, I realize how LEOs twist people's words.
No, we're not.
Let me finish speaking, okay?
Yes, please do.
They twist people's words. Any attorney, and all you three gentlemen will know, you don't ever speak to the cops.
I want to hear what he got to say.
You don't ever talk to cops. Never. You never talk to cops unless you're legally obligated to. Nothing good can come from that. I'm very well of my rights, very well aware of my rights. Now, I understand you're doing no fault with that. You are doing your job.
Okay.
And the mere fact that I'm exercising my legal rights does not make me uncooperative. Okay?
Mike stands his ground with absolute authority, showing these officers what it means to know and exercise his right.
Now, the fact that someone called you and said they're harassing doesn't give you the general order just to stop people.
No, that wasn't the reason why. Because a person in a vehicle that matched your description was doing that. We didn't say you were doing it.
Okay.
And that's what we're coming down to.
But how do you define harassing? Someone just called says they were harassing. Did you ask her what they did? Did you ask the person?
You said a red truck, pickup truck was following her since she came in town.
Is that a crime?
We haven't determined that. We just want to make sure.
Do you see where I'm going with this, sir? I mean, I understand you guys are doing your job, but do you see how this goes? I'm aware of my rights. You do not have, or excuse me, you have the right to ask me whatever question you want.
You're really enjoying this.
I'm not enjoying anything. You know what I am enjoying? How you officers fail to realize that those badges and those guns don't give you the right to violate other people's rights. Sir, you are. I have articulated to you that you are illegally detaining me.
Now, you have got to give it to Mike. He handled the situation perfectly. He stood firm, refused to be intimidated, and kept his cool while asserting his right.
And because you choose to abuse your authority and not recognize that what I'm saying is a fact, you are illegally violating my rights.
To question you, to find out if you are the one or not the one that was violating this other woman's rights.
But I've made it clear, sir, I'm not going to answer questions. I've made it clear I'm not. You don't get to. Yes, sir. The fact that I'm exercising my rights does not mean I'm not cooperating, sir.
Yes, it does.
It does not. It absolutely does not. Now, if I was doing something against the law or resisting you in some manner...
We can't determine that.
But you don't get to question me so I can give you information so you can make a case or not a case. I'm not saying I am this person, I'm not saying I am not this person. But what you fail to realize is I do not have to speak to you, sir. And that does not give you the right to detain me until you get some information to charge me with a crime. You don't get to search and search until I say something or you twist something I say to use it against me.
Shockingly, officers pledge to uphold the Constitution without ever understanding the rights that they swear to protect.
You gentlemen have a dangerous job. There is 19 unsolved murders in this city. Okay? You've got much better things to do to me. Okay? I'm not a threat to anyone.
We're not here.
What? Sir, there's 5 cops here. The gentleman that pulled me, and if he had any reasonable articulable suspicion, is no longer here. I'm assuming, I don't know where he is or where he's gone. You 3 gentlemen have no first-hand information. No first-hand information. This officer that pulled me over said he spoke with some individual that says apparently I was doing something was classified as harassment.
No, we said. We didn't say you.
You didn't say that. I said that officer.
That your vehicle was told.
Now, were you here? See this camera here?
Yes.
That officer stood here and said he spoke to a woman that said I was harassing her and following her for days. I didn't say you 3. The black gentleman, the gentleman that was here a few moments ago, that has now left the scene. So once again, gentlemen, hold on. Let me calm down.
Go ahead.
All 3 officers were left speechless, frantically trying to figure out how to get through, but none could match his knowledge and resolve.
Once again, gentlemen, if you have a reasonable articulate suspicion of me committing a crime or about to commit a crime, you have a right to detain me, ask me for my ID, which I will oblige you with, as I'm required by law. Short of that standard, you are illegally detaining me. I've asked to be free to go, and you are telling me until I give you some information, I'm not free to go. That is a violation of my rights, sir. Do you understand that?
Please willing to give us your ID. That's all it is.
You know what, guys? I would love to give it to you because I used to be one of them. But because I'm aware of my rights and because of my life experiences with law enforcement, I choose to exercise my rights. Not to be difficult, sir. You guys have much more better things. See, that's just it, because people don't know their rights. And because LEOs, I don't know you three gentlemen personally. I quit a department because I ratted out the crook cops that worked with me. Okay?
What is frightening is that the only thing keeping these officers from escalating further was the camera recording them, and the fact that Mike was an ex-cop.
I'm sick of it. The corruption is everywhere. Every single cop in this nation is a liar. All right? I used to be one of them.
And you're calling 3 of us liars.
Yes, sir.
Just another example of officers twisting literally anything just to make someone look guilty.
You're going to stand here and tell me you've never falsified tweets, twisted a report just for your benefit, or provided false information, or saw one of your fellow brothers in blue violate someone's rights or do something wrong by the mere fact of you withholding that information and not going to your supervisor makes you a liar.
I did not.
In your life, you've never, ever lied. You've never, ever lied in your entire life.
Well, that's something that you're talking about as a police officer or as a human being?
As a police officer, you've never lied in your life. Sir, you're allowed to lie in investigations. The Supreme Court has ruled you're allowed to lie. So your credibility just went out the window for me. I'm a certified interrogator, buddy. Don't sit here and play this game with me. You just lost your credibility. Now, any respectable person would say, of course I've lied. I've lied in the line of duty. I've lied in my personal life. Yeah. I got more integrity in my finger, buddy, than you've got in your whole body.
Okay, sir. Back
Wow, that has got to be one of the most shocking conversations ever. One man calls all cops liars, and the officers silently nod in agreement. That is truly wild.
Back to my original question
Yes,
when I
sir.
first got here.
Yes, sir.
Okay. Are you following somebody?
I don't answer questions, sir.
Okay.
Am I free to go?
Yes, you're free to go.
Thank you.
He put them in their place without hesitation. One of the most satisfying walks of shame I have ever seen. Now that was a wild ride, and these next cops, they just showed a whole new level of stupidity.
I don't like your attitude. You come in here, you're supposed to be investigating. You should be asking me questions. Learn your job, dude. I'm tired of you cops not knowing what your job is.
On February 12, 2025, Auditor Jeff Gray stood outside Riviera Beach City Hall holding a sign supporting homeless veteran. Instead of respecting his rights, a security guard chose to interfere.
I'm sorry, you have to speak up. I can't hear well.
Can't do that.
Why that? Why's that? What's that?
No solicitation.
Yeah, solicitation's free speech. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. I'm going to go ahead and do it. Yeah. Why would you do that?
Because you cannot do it.
It's free speech.
You cannot do it.
It's free speech. This is City Hall property.
When it comes home, you're letting it go.
All right, you don't have to call the cops, man.
I'm telling you tell me.
Yeah, I'm not going anywhere.
That's what I'm saying, sir.
I have a right to be here. This is free speech. You do have a choice. You can just leave me alone. That's the funny thing about it.
Yeah, because then again, people gonna come through here and say,
You don't have to-
this guy is doing this. Then it's gonna be
You don't have to snitch, man.
Then it's gonna be me.
You don't have to snitch.
The guard used threats right away, warning Jeff about calling the police even though he had no reason to escalate the situation. This shows how easily power can be abused.
I'm not snitching. You're not supposed to do it.
Yes, I am. I have every right to be here just as much as anybody else does.
Okay, so when the cops come,
I can explain it to them, okay?
How are you doing, sir?
I'm all right, how are you?
I guess we got a complaint that you're asking customers for money or you're bothering customers or something?
I'm not bothering customers.
Okay, what's going on?
I'm just out here spreading the message. God bless homeless veterans.
They don't want your presence here right now because I guess some people are feeling uncomfortable with you coming up and they're making complaints to them, and that's why they called me. So, are you conducting any business here?
Like I explained to them, I am conducting business. I'm engaged in freedom of speech, freedom of religion on traditional public forum, and I have just as much right to be here as anybody else.
Yeah, you do, but you have to be conducting business. And this is the city hall, so that's why, just give me a second. I'm gonna wait for my partner to get here.
A police officer showed up a few moments later, but just like the security guard, she disregarded Jeff's rights instead of defending them.
Yeah, like I said, I'm engaged in free speech.
I understand that, and
Yes.
They're comfortable with you coming up.
Normal business operating hours. Yeah.
Okay, so, but they're not comfortable with
What's the uncomfortable law?
Give me a second. Let me just wait
Okay.
till my partner gets here.
How you doing, sir? Why do I need to give you ID?
Double check something.
What?
He's recording. Just heads up. Just
What's
like we're
going on?
recording, he's recording too.
Yes or no question. Do you have ID?
Of course I have
Can I
ID.
have it, please?
No. I'm engaged in constitutionally protected activity on a traditional public forum.
I didn't ask you anything else. I just asked you for your
Okay,
ID.
well, I'm just letting you know.
No. Thank you.
The officer clearly did not expect resistance, and when Jeff refused to comply, his unprofessionalism only worsened.
I mean, well, I'm just letting you know I'm engaged in constitutionally protected activity on a traditional public forum. There's freedom of speech.
Thank you for sharing that.
What's your name?
It's Officer Brown.
What's your badge number?
4994.
Okay, what's your, are you body cam recording? What's your attitude, man?
I asked you a simple question. That's it.
Yeah, I'm just trying to have a conversation with you. Don't put your hands up to me like that.
I don't need a conversation.
All right.
Thank you.
All right. Talk to the hand then. I don't like your attitude, man. But I will put you on notice that if you guys remove me from this property, you will be held accountable. Jackass.
I'm sorry. What was that?
Jackass. I don't like your attitude.
I didn't hear you.
Jackass. I called you a jackass. I don't like your attitude. You come in here, you're supposed to be investigating. You should be asking me questions.
I did ask you.
You asked me for my ID.
Yes, sir.
Is my ID going to tell you whether a crime is afoot? Is my ID, you want me? Hold on a second. It's in my pocket. I'll get my ID out for you.
When Jeff called out his bad attitude, the cop was taken aback. Instead of handling the situation calmly, he doubled down on his rude behavior.
I'm tired of you cops not knowing what your job is. Straight to ID. So just so you know, I would like to stay and enjoy my freedom of speech rights. But if they do say that I'm trespass, you give me a trespass warning, I'll leave.
I think my partner asked for ID. You refused to give it.
Yeah, I'm not committing a crime.
Did you refuse to give the ID? That's what I asked.
Yeah, I'm refusing to give ID. I'm not committing a crime.
So in order for us to trespass you, we got to get your ID.
No, you don't. You just trespass me.
No, because in our way we give a CAD. So then if you come back, then you get arrested for
It's a
trespass.
civil matter.
That's how you see it. Civil matter or not?
No, that's how the courts see it.
Okay, I'm not going to argue with you.
That's how the law sees it. If you trespass me, I leave. I'm not giving you ID.
Despite their lack of knowledge of the law, these officers stubbornly defended their mistake, exposing their ignorance for all to see.
So am I good to go, man?
There's other things to do in the city right now.
Am I good to go? No answer. Just gonna walk away. Completely unprofessional. So they got the word to leave me alone, and they can't bring themselves to be big enough to say, yes, sir, you're good to go. There's better things to do in the city right now. You're damn right there's better things to be doing in the city right now than harassing a person who is engaged in freedom of speech, freedom of religion, freedom of assembly on a traditional public forum. There they go, tucking their tails and running.
Next, this father made sure that his children were not intimidated by these thug cops.
Go get a warrant.
Okay, well then that's what we'll do.
We're not searching anything on this property without a warrant.
It's always good to see informed citizens holding corrupt cops accountable, and today we'll be going through these instances where residents showed them who's the boss. The last officer's reaction was nothing compared to the first one, and you'll be shocked to see the meltdown.
You just proved
Of what crime? Of what crime? Whoa! Whoa! Simple battery. You just battered me, sir.
Starting off with this moment of brilliance from this guy who knew to stand for his right.
You can be his little bodyguard all you want. Just stay out of my f***ing camera.
Who's the
Name and badge number.
In August 2024, Bob returned home to find out his daughter and her boyfriend were pulled over by a couple of York County police officers as they were accused of brandishing a weapon during a road rage.
Why aren't y'all recording?
You recorded the people
No. You get pulled over, pull your cameras out, and record them, and get name and badge numbers. You know you're blocking traffic, right? You know that bus had to go in the grass to get around you, right? Which is illegal.
Get around it. So you're welcome to banter, record, berate me. It's not going to change what I'm doing out here.
I don't give a fuck what you're doing. You're blocking traffic. I couldn't get around you, and the bus couldn't get around you.
Cops had received a call from the other party involved and wanted to conduct a search of the suspect's car and even the house. However, Bob would not let this happen as he continued to film and hold them accountable.
Give a permission to search your car? They didn't see a gun. Anybody can ride down the street and say they saw a fucking gun. You can be his little bodyguard all you want. Just stay out of my fucking camera.
Who's the
name and badge number?
That's Sergeant Good, number 14. Are you the homeowner here?
Why does that matter?
Well, because I'm going to talk to the homeowner, see if either one can get search warrant.
They're not here.
Okay.
Sergeant Good, who had been intimidating the young girl and her boyfriend, now had to face her father, who was clearly well versed in the law.
There's a couple people that live here.
Okay. Any adults?
Yeah, there's a few adults that live here.
Can I talk to one of them?
We're talking to one.
Okay, so you live here. Sir, I'm not your enemy. Okay, I understand you're apprehensive. You got a whole bunch of cops here and everything else. I understand that. I'm not here to bust your chops. I'm not accusing you of anything.
Hey, what you're doing?
We got a call, and they are explained to you or no? So we got a call about a road rage incident. They gave description of the vehicle, license plate number, description of the occupants. They said somebody waved a gun at them. Okay, so it is he said, she said at this point. Okay, but we also have to look at the motivation behind that call. It can happen, but does it happen all the time?
So
No,
go
it
get a
doesn't.
warrant.
Okay, well then that's what we'll do.
You have to get a warrant.
Okay. All right.
You're
very
not
good.
searching anything on this property without a warrant.
What we're going to do, though, in the meantime, because there's a firearm involved, alleged to be involved, is that we're going to do a protective sweep of the residence. We can do that without a warrant. Okay, we're going to make sure there's nobody in there with a loaded gun waiting to out the windows. Okay.
The sergeant was now claiming to do a safety check for the residents around, but he was completely wrong, as the officers need a clear breach of security to do so. Shortly after, Bob used the Attorney Shield app to quickly get legal advice from a lawyer.
This is Attorney. How do I see you requested support for a traffic stop today? Is that correct?
Yeah, my daughter was pulled over, and now they want to search the house.
Hey, I'm Sergeant Good with the York County Regional Police Department. Are you his representing attorney?
Yes, I am.
Okay. So what we have is we had a road rage incident where somebody described a pistol with extended magazine was pointed at them from a vehicle that's here in the driveway. The people that are here in the driveway, the police officers got here and saw them go into the house. And we want to try to confirm whether there's somebody in the house with an extended magazine pistol that was waving it at people or not.
Oh, Mr. Ward, you understand that they don't have a right to search your home without a warrant, correct?
I told them they cannot enter the house without a warrant.
Well, there's a difference between entering the house and doing a protective sweep to make sure there's not somebody in there pointing a gun at me right now.
Sergeant Good was once again trying to use the benefit of a protective sweep, something he had no right to do. Keep watching as the attorney prepared to take him to task.
But you understand that he doesn't have to give you permission to enter his home unless you have a warrant.
Correct. For searching it. The protective sweep, I believe there's plenty of case law saying that we can make sure there's nobody armed and dangerous in there waiting to hurt us. Again, not to search the house, but to enter for a protective sweep.
You know, it is his private property, so unless you have a search warrant, you don't have a right to enter his home.
Okay, we might agree to disagree on that point for entry, but anyway, we'll apply for a search warrant, and as long as these people all stay out here, maybe we don't need to do a protective sweep and we'll just apply for the search warrant. So
Bob made a smart move by getting the attorney on the call, leaving the sergeant visibly defeated.
I'm trying to look for cooperation, look for a specific weapon. If it's not there, great.
Don't touch me again.
If you know, if you want to talk to him, see if there's anything that he wants to do with us, great. If not, we'll just secure the way we're at now. But we're not going to let anybody go back in the residence until we have a search warrant, because very well could be weapons inside, and he's actually admitted there's other weapons inside. Okay?
Yes, sir. I just, I have to protect my client's constitutional rights.
No, I get it. I totally understand. Yep. If somebody has this weapon and they're willing to escort us to it and get it, great.
There is no weapon they're talking about in this premises.
If there is no weapon, then I understand that also. But we can't just say, somebody says somebody did the same thing to you.
So anybody can call and say, "Hey, this guy has a gun," and you're going they're not here, so they can't say anything. They took a 911 phone call.
No, we talked to the person.
However, suddenly the story took a twist. Although there was no weapon inside the car, Bob's girlfriend told him that there was marijuana in the trunk.
So they're looking for a gun, and there is a bomb in the trunk of the car.
Okay.
I mean, they're going to get a warrant to search for a gun. So anything outside of the gun is nothing, right?
They can take it, right? That's all.
Unfortunately, if they get a warrant to search the car, I believe they can press charges for something else being found in the vehicle.
What if we just let them search it and all they find is a bomb?
It's going to be up to their discretion on whether
I will move to my shit and smash it right now. And what can they do about it?
They can charge you. All right, go ahead.
Suddenly, Bob's position weakened, forcing him to quickly shift his approach.
So yeah, if you do give them permission to search, and they find something like that, just know that it is up to their discretion whether or not they want to press charges.
I gotcha.
And sometimes, when you are cooperative, they might let something like that slide, but there's no guarantee. So, giving up your rights in that instance, the charges.
I gotcha.
Ultimately, Bob decided to cooperate and let the officers search the car, but car alone, hoping they would let the marijuana slide. But keep watching ahead to see what twist this case takes.
Whoever was parked down there seen us the whole time. We're outside.
Yeah, we kind of see him. Okay. Once I saw him get the stuff out of the car. That was for no. I never.
This stuff.
That stuff.
This stuff.
Okay, all right. So they did bring the fishing rod. So nobody carried something in the house. We're just looking for a large pistol with an extended magazine. So that's it. Okay.
Okay.
All right.
You have a card?
In my car.
You got a card?
I'll grab it for you then.
You ain't got it. So glad I have this app now.
It's definitely a good resource.
Appreciate you guys. Look at the car. Really, no gun in it. So yeah, I mean, I don't know why they call her adamant that she saw.
That's because we were recording them because they had a bat. Like they were literally waving the bat out the window. Like, pull over.
A bat?
Yeah,
like a
baseball bat. Yeah.
After an extensive search of the vehicle, the officers could find nothing suspicious. Sergeant Good reviewed videos showing the other party in the road rage incident threatening them with a baseball bat.
I was more certain that somebody could have snuck the gun into the house. We would get a search warrant for the house. But
That's the only way you're entering the house.
These guys are saying, what's that?
It's the only way you're going to enter the house.
Right. No, I get that. And I'm not here to, flex on you or anything like that. Okay. But if my guys would have said, somebody carried a bag inside or something, then we would have. But under the circumstances at that point, I don't think we are gonna search the house. I don't think you saw your attorney on the phone down there. I don't think we are, since we were able to check the car and they're pretty certain that nobody's trying to done
kept an eye until they were getting closer. And then once we saw you out.
This finally changed his perspective, and the officers left the residence.
We're not just harassing you guys here. We're gonna be talking to them and making sure.
And the reason why there is 4 cops is that, this is one that we would automatically send 2 guys off. And then I'm the 5th supervisor, so I'm going to come. You know what I mean? And the other guy was semi-close at the south end of Red Line, so I told him to. You know what I mean? It's not that, again, whenever we have a call that involves a firearm, we have to just caution.
Please do.
Thank you for your time.
Absolutely. Have a good rest of your day.
Thank you, too.
Bob continued to record the cops as they went back to their business. It is truly satisfying to see the way that he handled the sergeant, who could easily have intimidated some other person to search their home. Attorney Shield was a huge help too, and we hope that everyone has it to ensure these corrupt cops know their place. Moving on, this next officer made a major blunder and ultimately had to apologize and face legal action.
Did you just run from me? Still okay? Alright, put your hand behind your back.
In November 2022, David Wiggins was returning home after grabbing some food when a couple of police officers pulled him over. Before he could even think anything, he found himself on the ground.
Hands out the window! Both hands! You got anybody in there with you? Anybody with you? Take your right hand up in the door. Get on the ground. On the ground. On the ground! On the ground.
The female officer was the aggressor as she had his gun out and went over to Wiggins. However, he wasn't even the guy they were after and made a huge blunder.
Did you just run from me? Still okay? Alright, put your hand behind your back. No.
Can I ask you what I did?
You run from me?
I was going home. I did not run, I swear.
It didn't take long for these idiot cops to find out they had made a mistake, and shortly after, they apologized for this embarrassment.
Good. That's scary. Look, I'm sorry. You got almost the same tag, same car. He must have passed you going through, and you turned off this one.
Yeah, it must
You
have
good?
happened. We had everybody come and do.
Yeah. You good?
Yeah.
All right. You have a good one, okay? I'm sorry about that.
It is concerning how law enforcement officers made such a blunder, and shortly after this, Wiggins ended up filing a civil rights lawsuit against the officer and the city. The case is yet to go to trial, but we hope he gets the compensation he deserves. Well, this might take a bit long, but this guy made sure to own this corrupt cop on the spot.
All right. If there's a reasonable suspicion.
This is articulable reasonable suspicion. You just proved
Of what
it.
crime?
On August 4th, 2020, a couple of auditors were driving near the Ware County Prison in Georgia when the driver made a wrong turn and pulled into the driveway to check the map. That is when an officer approached and began demanding his ID.
Yeah, I was checking out something out on the map.
Okay, all right. You do realize you stopped there, back there.
Yeah, we thought we could get through. Then we saw we couldn't, so we turned around.
All right. You got your driver's license with you?
I do. Am I getting pulled over for something?
Well, you pulled into the water driveway back there.
To turn around.
Yeah, and we're trying to figure out what you were doing. We're trying to identify you.
Is that illegal? How's my ID going to tell you what I'm doing?
Well, we're trying to identify you.
Okay.
For what? May I please have your driver's license?
Is that a lawful order?
Yes, sir.
What infraction do you believe I've
pulled
committed?
over here on the road, and I checked that.
Because I was going to look at the map. I didn't want to get on my cellular device.
Well, that's good.
While I was driving.
Well, that's good. I appreciate it. Do you have your driver's license?
I have my driver's license with me, but I'm not certain I'm required to give it. Can you state some sort of statute or
yes, sir.
some sort of infraction?
Anytime you're requested by law enforcement to provide driver's license, you have to provide driver's license.
The officer was clearly in the wrong. The law requires reasonable, articulable suspicion to demand someone's documents, and he had none.
If you've committed some sort of infraction or
You turn
crime.
around back there.
Was that illegal? Was that illegal?
And you pulled in, so we're trying to figure out what
Was
you're
that
doing.
illegal?
We were trying to figure out.
I understand that.
We're trying to figure out what you're doing.
But you're not to figure out what I'm doing, police. You're the law enforcement. Police.
And that we're trying to figure out. It's suspicious. So we're just trying to figure out what you were doing.
Is one of these cars your supervisor?
Yes, sir, it is.
I'd like to talk to your supervisor,
You're
please.
going to talk to me right now. And do you have your driver's license?
I'm not. I don't think I'm required to give you my driver's license, and I'd like to talk to your supervisor to find out.
Yes, sir. May I please get your driver's license?
I don't believe you're giving me a lawful command, sir.
Yes, I am.
For what purpose do you need my ID? What crime or ordinance do you suspect me to have broken?
Because it was suspicious of you to pull.
Suspicious? Is that a misdemeanor or is that a felony?
The officer was just trying to intimidate him because he took an apparent wrong turn. But make sure to keep watching as things were about to get heated.
Loitering or something like that. Do you have?
Do you have evidence that I was loitering?
Sir, you pulled in back there, did you not?
I turned around, yeah, because I saw that I couldn't get through.
You couldn't get through. The road was open. I don't know.
Oh, I saw. It looked like there was checkpoints for getting into the prison or something. So we turned around because we didn't think we could get through.
As you can see from our plate, we're not from here, so
I
yeah.
understand that. Do you have your driver's license?
I don't. I'm telling you. Am I lawfully required to give you my ID?
Yes, sir.
What? For what purposes am I lawfully required?
Well, I would just explain to you, sir.
Suspicion isn't a crime, and I didn't break any
Reasonable
ordinance.
suspicion, yes.
Of a crime. Of a crime.
Reasonable suspicion that you turn around back
Can
there
I just
doing
talk to the
something.
supervisor that's back there?
No, sir. I need your driver's license.
I'm done answering questions.
All right, sir. We'll have you step out of the vehicle for me.
For what purpose?
The auditor stayed calm despite the officer escalating the situation and even trying to force the driver out of the vehicle, something he had no legal reason to do.
Step out of the vehicle, sir. I just need to identify you.
But for what purpose?
You're making it harder. All I'm trying to do is...
I'm trying to make it lawful.
All I'm trying to do
What law do you think I broke to pull me over for?
You were down there. You pulled into the...
Yes,
I
I
didn't
did.
know what you were doing, right?
I turned around.
That's the
I told you
warden's
what I'm
residence. That's the warden's residence.
I turned
State
around.
Property,
I didn't know
right?
whose it was.
It's state property. So I came
So
down
it's
here
public
to
property.
It's state property, okay?
Public property, then.
That's state property, okay?
Was it illegal to turn around on his property?
Well, it's articulably reasonable suspicious that you're performing something
turnaround
illegal there,
in a
or
vehicle.
you're doing something there when we have other things going on. So if I can, please identify
I'm not
you,
from
sir.
this town.
Okay, and that's fine. And all I have to do is identify you. We can get you on your way.
How is identifying me going to tell you what I was doing?
Well, we're making sure that you're not a wanted person. You're somebody that is going to go there and harm the warden or something.
The ID is not going to tell you
I'm making a
that.
formal request for your supervisor right now.
Okay, well that's fine, sir.
well, that's fine, sir. I'm formally
But-
making a request
and
right now for your
I'm making a
supervisor.
formal request that you provide your driver's license?
3611 36.
35.3611. What's your statute ID? It says that if you've committed a crime, if you have in the commission of a crime.
Another trooper arrived on the scene, and he turned out to be even worse than the first officer.
Step back here.
For what reason?
Step back here.
What did he explain? He explained that I turned around in someone's driveway. Yes, I did. I don't know whose driveway was.
Stop and listen. You asked me a question. I'm telling you exactly what I'm
I don't. Is it unlawful to turn around in a driveway? Go ahead. Go ahead.
All right. Currently, there's been events happening there at the prison, correct?
I don't know. You can see I'm from Florida.
So this is what's going on.
Okay.
There's been events that's happening there at the prison last week. All right.
I didn't know that. I didn't know that either. I pulled into a driveway. I didn't know whose driveway it was. Wasn't posted for trespassing.
If you will
I made
hand
sure
your
to
phone
look.
to your buddy, he can record with both phones, but you're going to step out here and we're going to try to identify.
I ask you, sir, you're a supervisor, correct? But is this a lawful request for my ID? Can you tell me what lawful statute or of what? My wallet's down there, so I can get you my ID from down there.
Can you
I'm
grab
not
the
gonna have you
wallet
get
from
it.
Can you grab? I was pointing at it. It's right there. That's why I was pointing at it. You think that?
Okay. So I'm going to identify myself.
It is astonishing how many laws these cops will break under the pretext of officer safety. Their actions only fuel public outrage and make things worse for themselves.
Able to identify.
Okay. So you're identifying me for suspicious behavior?
Yes, sir.
And that's not a misdemeanor nor a felony.
It is. It would
nor
be.
have I committed a traffic infraction.
We don't know what you're doing. But honestly,
this isn't going to tell you what I'm doing. But so, just for the record, I have not made a traffic infraction, correct?
Sir,
is that correct?
You pulled into the water.
Did I make a traffic infraction? Yes or no?
Sir, you pulled into a driveway that does not
Yes, I
belong
did.
to you, right?
Yes.
You don't know who it belongs to.
Correct. I was
All
turning
right,
around.
so
It's
I'm
a
coming down
normal
here.
practice.
I've informed you.
Yes.
When I initially informed you, when I asked for your driver's license, you asked for the reason. I informed you whose driveway that was. I'm trying to figure out because of the
My
events
ID is
that
going
occurred.
to make it yes or not
Yes, sir.
unlawful?
Yes, sir.
My
Let
ID
me
is going to
see- let
change
me see
whether
your
it's
driver's
lawful or
license.
not. All right. I am handing you my driver's license
Yes,
under
sir.
duress. Under threat of.
okay.
Am I going to get arrested if I don't give you my license?
Sir, you can be charged. I'm just asking for your driver's license.
Am I going to?
The officer eventually tells the auditor that he could be arrested if he didn't provide his license. That is when he decides to hand him his document. But that wouldn't be the end of this stop.
Am I going to be arrested if I don't give you my
I'm just
driver's license?
asking for your driver's license. Yes, sir.
If
you
you're
can be arrested.
If you're
You can.
asking for it, I'm going to say no. If you're requesting it, requiring it by law,
I am requiring
under
it by law.
threat of arrest, then I will.
I
then
am
will do
requiring it by law. Yes, sir.
Okay, so I am going to get arrested if I don't ID myself.
There is state law that says when you're requested by
That's a
law
yes or
enforcement.
no?
Yes,
Okay.
if you're required by law enforcement, you must provide your driver's
All
license.
right. If there's a reasonable suspicion.
This is articulable reasonable suspicion. You just proved
Of what
it.
crime? Of what crime? Whoa! Whoa! Simple battery. You just battered me, sir.
Step out here, because I've given you lawful commands.
And you have my ID.
Please,
And you have my ID.
Please give your phone to your friend, and we're gonna step out here.
Okay, I'm stepping out. You don't need to manhandle me. I'm
I'm
stepping
not.
out.
How am I
Your
manhandling?
hand-
Step out.
Okay, I'm stepping
I'm
out.
not. I don't want you doing anything to put the vehicle in drive because I've had that happen before.
I'll shut it off.
All right, thank you.
I didn't even think of that. I apologize.
Step back
Okay,
here.
I'm stepping back.
The auditor was eventually forced out of the car, and after the cops ran his license, they let him go on his way. It is unclear if the auditors pursued the case or filed any complaints against the corrupt officer. Well, that brings us to the end of this video. Today we saw cases where cops were absolutely humbled and owned by informed citizens. It is great to see people knowing the law and actually knowing their rights as they end up questioning the corrupt cops and holding them accountable for their crime. If you agree with me, please support us by liking this video. Also, if you enjoyed this video, watch the shocking moments these celebrities were found guilty and arrested.
You can't be acting like that, bro.
Yeah, well, you can't be with my kid.